Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Welcome back to Kadena Campfire. This is community call number 37. We're starting a couple minutes late here this morning as at the last minute, fate had struck and Emily unfortunately got food poisoning and has had to bow out for today's campfire. But we're very, very fortunate to have a new surprise guest on the stream. We're going to welcome Albert from the DX team. Hey, Albert, how you doing?
Hey, Tyler, how are you doing? Yes, I'm doing good, thank you. It's evening, nearly evening here, so but I'm ready for this. It's a bit last minute, but we'll get through it.
Incredible. I like that not only are you here, but you have your crew hoodie on. Like, build the future.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
exactly. Yeah, build the future on Kadena, definitely.
Excuse me. Well, this has been great fun. We'll say hi to the community here. I think this is Albert's your first time on the stream, yeah? So this is a great way
Yeah,
for
I
the
think so.
community to know you too, and hopefully people will enjoy hearing from a new perspective. You know, we'll try and get a little bit of your backdrop and story as we go along here. But first, just saying hi to the community. Late Dana, thanks for that, Frank. Okay. But we got a lot of folks here. Oh, Frank Fractal, kind of like that name. That's cool. But we have I think going to have a really great session here today. I know there's some asked questions. I have a bunch of updates and things and news to share. So that's going to be great fun. And we'll jump into it here. So how about we start with some quick intro to Campfire. For those that haven't been here before, I think most are familiar faces. This is a community-driven initiative where we want to give insights into what's happening at Kadena and come together with the community to chat. The space also provides the opportunity to ask any questions you may have and would like to know more about, so please feel free to do so. So with that, we're going to jump into some updates and news. So you probably were there, but Campfire 36 last week had both Stewarts, both Haber and Popejoy, and Scott Sornetta. Was a huge smashing success. Over 800 live viewers, over 2,500 views on YouTube, and over 15,000 views on X. So that's pretty freaking awesome. So thank you to the folks in the community that helped promote that. Ryan did an amazing job moderating that. And wow, how cool is it to have both Stewarts and Scott on one video at a time. So I hope people really enjoyed that and definitely go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. It's can't miss content. Secondly, Marmalade V2 has been released on mainnet, and I'm about to fumble through trying to play a video that is going to get us real hyped. Okay, here we go. You ready for this? Let's do it. Yeah. Pretty freaking sweet. I wish that all NFTs were made by robotic arms wielding lasers. I think that's how bits should be programmed from now on. All right, what else we got here? We got oh yeah, wow. This is huge. KDA Mining Club, one of the OG grantees, has mined over 1 million KDA. So wow, huge congrats to KDA Mining Club. That's an amazing milestone. And of course, another incredible example of fractionalized NFTs ownership, creating these streams from these mining ASICs. So super cool. KDA Mining Club, huge congrats. And other news from community, EchoDAO's governance platform beta testing has started. So hotly anticipated, an opportunity for community to get more directly involved in governing the platform. So that's pretty sweet. Really excited to see how that evolves and what the community dynamic is that comes out of that. And I think it's a really interesting way to really help shape the future of one of the more prominent projects. So that's pretty cool. Next up, Koala Wallet has airdropped over 7,000 NFTs as part of their Koala Tribe campaign. Go Kobe, go Eucalyptus Labs, and go Koalas. Maybe we can see some koalas in the chat. That's pretty awesome. So congrats to everyone there and to the recipients of those NFTs. Next up, we have a new docs website that was launched. Check it out at docs.kadena.io. So this is part of the mission to create the one-stop shop for everything docs so that you have one place to go to that can get you all the information you need about Pact, about Chainweb, about Kadena. So go look at it, and I think developers will be quite pleased. Ooh, this is a hard one. Lil AI anti-spam bot live on Telegram. Okay, yeah. As the name suggests, it fights spam more effectively than the usual anti-spam measures. Pretty neat. Second, but certainly not least, Nick was live for a discussion on ZK rollups last week on X. Pretty great conversation. So you should go check out Nick's hot takes on ZK rollups and maybe get some hints of what may be coming down the pipeline. That's pretty cool. And finally, for our most active community members, we have restructured our Discord, archived some channels to provide an overall better experience. And there's also a special role up for grabs until November 15th, only for the most active community members. This is the OG role. So that role will grant you access to a special channel on our Discord. And after 11:15, might drop some alpha every now and then. So definitely go check that out for the OGs. With that, we'll kind of jump in here. But I first want to make sure that we have a second to get to know Albert a little bit more, since it's our first time having you on the stream. Albert, would love to hear just a little bit about your background, your interests, and how you found your way to work at Kadena.
Yeah, so yeah, my name is Albert, and I joined Kadena now over, I think, almost about 1.5 years ago. I joined at the same time as Randy. He basically, so I worked with him earlier in the company where we worked together, actually, and well, he was a manager of a sibling team, so to speak, and yeah, he really wanted me to join for the developer experience squad. So so that was basically how I jumped into Kadena. But yeah, of course, I had some interest since probably the last high that we had with you know, with the whole crypto everything going on some time ago. But so I think I did investment. I mean, some investment earlier, so just crypto. Then worked with yeah, worked with a little bit of the Ethereum, but not too much. So for me, it was kind of like a very open space for everything that I'm concerned with blockchain. But so my background is basically in Web 2 development and mainly on the front end. So everything that integrates from dApps to the back end, that's actually or from dApps to the blockchain, that's actually something that is mainly my topic at this moment. And of course, yeah, we're looking into unifying stuff across the APIs, etc. So yeah, it's great to be on board, and I really love the people, and I like the community, and it's just so nice to you know, build something and actively show it to everyone. I mean, usually this is stuff that I built for internal feature teams or something, but now, you know, building with the community, that's actually one of the coolest thing to do. And yeah, at the moment I'm the developer experience architect, so that means in my role I'm basically working on a bunch of, you know, guiding a bunch of projects, which we will definitely talk about later on the campfire.
Super cool. Well, can't wait to hear more about some of those projects that you're guiding, Albert. And it's great to have you here. I know I enjoy getting to know folks I haven't spent as much time with on the team, and I know the community does too. And it's just it's so cool to just hear about your background, which sounds vibrant and distinct, and sounds like there's a lot of stuff, a lot of irons in the fire here. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. All right. So we have some pre-asked questions, which I know are sort of maybe a little oriented at Emily, but let me sort of take a quick perusal and see what's up. And let's see, you can always take some, and oh yeah, we got a lot of Pact core questions.
That's gonna be a hard one for me.
Those will be hard. You know what, I think we should save some of these pre-asked questions for when we got Emily back in the stream, and maybe we can talk a little bit more about DX. So first of all, Albert, would love to hear, I'm just curious, what does your day-to-day look like?
So yeah, my day-to-day looks like usually in the morning I have no meetings. So up to about 1 o'clock, I usually have no meetings. So that means that I can do pull requests. You know, get to see what all the projects are going. Do some preparation for the meetings that I have usually in the afternoon, because usually my afternoons are packed and packed. Yeah, no pun intended. But then I usually have I have chats with the people from the GraphQL team, people from Kadena Client, Kadena Utils, Kadena Client Utils that we recently released actually, and I'm trying to stay up to date with all the efforts that are going on, because DevEx is growing as a team. I think we are about 25 members already. So that's a big one. And usually, because in the afternoon, then also US wakes up. So then also the meetings with them start. So that's basically a lot of the things that I'm working on. And yeah, the meetings usually involve like things like reflecting on probably sometimes user experience parts, other times technical things that relate to the blockchain, chain-up data, chain-up graph, chain-up stream, and interfacing from the JavaScript endpoints, and of course keeping an eye on the monorepo that we have, the Kadena community / Kadena JS monorepo, where we do all our development actually. So yeah, really cool.
Right on. I see a question already from Ron the Wizard. I think it's a good one. What is developer experience, and what is the difference between developer experience and developer relations?
Great question. Yes. So developer experience. So the idea is that I've been working for platform teams, usually in bigger companies. And usually what we build is something like a platform that other builders or feature builder teams can work with. So let's say you would have a website and you would have a banking application, for example, and you work with that, but you don't want to be bothered with storing and retrieving login information, or dealing with stuff that you don't want to deal with. You just want to build features and don't want to have to care about state management or stuff like that. But so that's where we come in as a developer experience. So that what we try to do is improve the developer experience for building on top of Kadena. So basically everything that interfaces with that. So this goes from API design. So whenever we have new stuff to release, then we look into those APIs. We look what would be the best approach for a consumer to work with that. But also, for example, Kadena Client is an excellent example of making it easier to interact with smart contracts. So that is definitely something. And then on top of that, even we have built Kadena Client Utils. We have actually released yesterday the first version of, which is 0.02, and of course it's still it could change a little bit, but this is a really nice way to simplify a lot of commands that you would send to the chain node. For example, getting balance for accounts, or getting the key sets for a certain account, or making a quick transaction, or doing a cross-chain transaction. Especially cross-chain transaction, it's something that it's sometimes hard to understand what's actually going on, and if you can really alleviate that and move it all to a library that takes care of that's really nice. And in comparison to DevRel, so DevRel is more of the relationship with the developers that we have, which is kind of similar. It's kind of marketing, developers marketing, and maintaining those relations. And I try to do my part there as well. So I'm usually active on Discord in that respect. And so that's it. And actually, one really cool thing to say is that to improve the developer experience, for example, it's not really developer experience, but that's also a part of it, is that we introduce WebAuthn to authenticate and sign your transactions without the end user having the need to have set up a wallet and go to all these hoops to get their transaction signed. So this is actually the things that we really want to do. And for example, like GraphQL, having a very nice indexer and a really beautiful interface to retrieve data from the blockchain, retrieve data from an indexer, and present that so you can easily populate your dApp with that. That's really the goal that we wanna get to.
Awesome. Wow, that's a whole lot. It sounds like
Yeah.
there's a ton of activity and a lot of things on your plate. I actually wanted to ask something that I saw Old Coder asked for Emily, but I think is applicable here, which is, what's the wildest idea that you've heard of for a Kadena application?
Oh, that's an interesting one. Let me think about that for 1 second.
You can also give us what's your wildest idea, either way.
Yeah, so let me think because I have some ideas. Yeah, what I think would be a very wild idea is to have, like for Kadena specifically, have a way to do account abstraction. So we have now K colon, mumbo jumbo and everything, and if you could just abstract that away. It's actually an idea of Javad, our coworker, who has also worked on the client utils actually. And what he wants to make is a registry on chain that will, similar to Kadena names, will based on the name in a let's say base 20 format, will link to a specific chain. And then in that chain is stored a sort of registry, and that registry points to a wallet, which is actually really cool because then you can actually decentralize and also like sort of load balance all the transactions over the chains, because that would make, for example, easy to, let's say I have Albert as my name. And then, so I have Albert as my name, and then based on this algorithm, the chain that is required to retrieve what is my wallet is actually, for example, chain 8, and then inside the smart contract on chain 8 for this registry, it will retrieve the actual K address that is my wallet, and then you can, do everything on chain, and then send this information. Use this information in the wallet to, transfer money, etc. So that's actually a really nice one. Another one, which is, I mean, it's kind of easy and it's kind of for grabs. But what I really like is that you, especially when you have WebAuthn, you can make it so much easier to replace these payment engines like Stripe or whatnot you have with blockchain, and just use some wrapped stablecoin there, and that would be awesome. I mean, that would make the market so much easier, to do transfers and do it cheap and do it fast. That thing is, I think that's one of the things that whenever we have a stablecoin also on the blockchain, that would be an awesome use case.
Super cool. Love it. All right, I see we got a few more people coming in here. Let's see here. Okay, here's a question from One Hit a Quitta. Oh, that one might be for me. Where is the chat about ZK rollups? I want to hear that. Let's see here. We had that posted in their link earlier. I wonder which link it was. This is always the challenge of if anyone on the magic side has found this comment. Let's see here. Acadia Mining Club, Echo DAO, Koala Wallet. And then we had Lil AI. Is it this one? I think it's one of these. Is it that one or that one? Anyway, hopefully it was one of those two from our updates earlier. But yeah, definitely go check out Nick on ZK Rollups. Another question, though, from Frank Fractal. Kadena Bro, can you contact Coinly to connect their API to Chain Web Explorer so that we can easily make our taxes? Is that a question for you, or is that outside your purview, Albert?
This is kind of outside my my realm, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, Coinly sounds like a
So
tool
Coinly
that
is tax software reporting. Basically, it lets you slurp up a bunch of transactions across different exchanges and wallets and such. And then, if you have an API for Chain Web Explorer, then it makes it easier to do taxes for the US-based folks. I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
Oh, this
That'd
is
be
this is a good one. I think GraphQL could really help there because if we can just connect the Coinly to the GraphQL, then it would be very easy to get all this information. Definitely.
that's a great idea. Yeah, and that sounds even better, right? Because then that's wallet agnostic if you're going through GraphQL. Yeah, and then you can
Yeah,
support
probably.
and wallet and Quala wallet and folks, because then it's just, I think, account based. So yeah, that makes sense. I think it's a great idea, Frank. Glad you brought it up. Maybe Albert, you can take that back to the team and see if that's something that there could be some support on, or how to facilitate that. Seems like a really good thought.
Yeah, definitely. I will keep that in mind.
Yeah. All right. We looking at the chat here, just catching up a little bit on what's happening here. Oh, there we are. Nick on ZK rollups. There's I think that was the link I showed before, but now you can probably click it, so that makes life easier. We need taxes, said no revolutionary ever. Let's see here. Cool. like it. All right, Albert, a couple things I want to chat with you about. So one is I'm curious, as you think about what your ideal developer experience might look like. What are kind of the stuff that you kind of dream about and you think would be just so cool if you had, unlimited resources to make something happen? What would you dream up?
All right. Yeah. So if there was unlimited resources, I think I would go down the road of instant transaction verification. I mean, that's kind of like the golden part, right? And then actually, so I've been thinking about a platform where you could, let's say you have something like Firebase, right?
Yeah.
Firebase is this sort of serverless I would say backendless way of data storage. So from the client, you authenticate to this storage, and then you have access to certain records that you can read and some records that you can write. But what if we could connect any Web3 blockchain to that and make it really easy for our end users, which would be developers, of course, and also Web2 developers, to integrate both blockchain, for example, for authentication, for ownership of things, authentication, and also authorization, and then connect that through some sort of Firebase platform where you can easily store, data that doesn't require a high level of security. That would be actually a nice one.
Nice,
So yeah,
nice.
definitely.
Very, very cool. And I see we got the one and only Rand Dynamic in the chat here. Hello, Randy. Great to see you here. Of course, the Chief Experience Officer, Kadena. And this is not a plant, folks, but what is next up for the docs?
Right. So yeah, actually, there's a very, very nice announcement that we can make, is that we have onboarded a new technical writer. So we are actually busy working to make the whole docs and the content of the docs like a breeze to walk through and work with that. So that's definitely something that's going on. So yeah, I think I can name her already. It's her name is Lisa Gunn, and she has like 20 years experience in everything regarding technical documentation, onboarding new users, creating tutorials, etc. And she is gonna help us make all the especially for the new developers, but also definitely for existing developers as well, make it so much easier to work with the docs website. Yeah. And work with Pact, work with Chainweb, etc. Yeah.
Very, very cool. So I know we talked a little bit earlier about GraphQL. Could you, for those that aren't familiar, could you explain what GraphQL is and what can we expect in terms of GraphQL and Kadena?
Right. So GraphQL is a way. So let's step back a little bit. So there is we used to communicate from server to server with XML XML envelopes, as we call them, which could be validated with XML schemas, etc. And then we thought there was
really complicated, like long, convoluted. You got like a name for everything and like nested stuff. And it like, I don't know if anyone's ever had this experience. You like accidentally opened up a Word document in like Notepad or something, and then it just like looked like a mess of like brackets everywhere and like equal signs.
Yes.
Like that's XML.
Yes, exactly. That's
Okay.
XML. So if you do that, and then imagine that servers talk to each other through that. And then if you're working with that, so then at some point we thought, well, it's a good idea to actually not do that and just simplify everything. Don't have any schema, so we don't obey to any rules, but we just blob out some JSON. So that's basically REST APIs. And then REST APIs are also not the best way to communicate from server to server or server to client. So what came up was JSON schemas, which make them a little bit more formalized. But in the end, that's what we have now. Is that JSON is actually a very flat way of communicating. So what we actually wanted to have as developers is something that would really describe the data in a form of a graph. Like if you have a block, and in a block are transactions, and in a transaction are transfers, and a transfer is signed, or a transaction is signed by someone, this whole structure is actually something that we want to display in that exact way. And that's actually what GraphQL does. So GraphQL is a mechanism to query in a graph format the specific data parts that you want, and nothing more and nothing less. And that's actually something that we are doing for the Kadena blockchain. So some of you know we have chain data, which already does some processing of the blocks and transactions and transfers. And on top of that, we built the graph. And the graph will then be able to expose all this data to the client. And actually, we are going to release one.
So for people that don't know,
this is XML.
Like what XML looks like. You got these like nested things. So this is catalog, and then plant, and then you got the plant name, and then the type, and something about the lighting, and the price, and the availability. And you can have all these fields, and they can be like arbitrarily nested. And this one's like at least reasonably laid out, but kind of shows you XML is. And then what GraphQL lets you do is you can do some really cool stuff. You can basically, oops, we clicked the wrong button there. You can now go into, you can write in a really nice way. You can just write a query and be like, hey, give me all the user IDs and all the names for every user. And then that's what you write. And then you can like query it, and then you get it back. And so what's really nice about it is it makes, for example, picking up information, you don't have to deal with like what is the nested way to do all this. You're just like, hey, bam, I want the user, I want the name, I want the ID. That's it. And now imagine being able to do that across like saying a blockchain. That'd be pretty sweet. So I think that's what you're talking about. Is that about right, Albert?
That's definitely correct. Yes, and actually, what we are going to do in before the end of December, we want to release the first version of the GraphQL endpoint to the public, to host yourself, of course, to start with, and even potentially power our Explorer with that one as well. So that's really cool. That's really cool stuff going on. And yeah, we're working on this, and we are going to announce a builders call as well to if you want to have some input on how the schema looks like. So yeah, definitely join that one.
Yeah. So cool. And when can we expect this new GraphQL to launch? Is there a date for that yet?
So the dates for the first release candidate for the beta release, so the release candidate for the beta will be the 21st of November. So that's the first deadline.
All right.
So that's actually really soon. Right. Yeah. And we and within now and that time, or maybe a week later, we want to at least have this builders call to see where the ideas are going. And we want to release before the end of the year. We want to kind of formalize this first beta version. It's in progress, but we are very far in finalizing the first version that we want to release. And everything is based on top of the chain data that we all know and love.
Awesome. By the way, we have a Zeely code here for those that are with us. DevRel is the Zeely code for today's campfire. So we'll leave that up here for a moment. I got a couple other topics I want to hop onto. I got a little bird in my ear, or should I say a little X in my ear, whispered that there's a cool new DevWallet. Could you give me a little bit more? What's up with this?
Yes, so from developer experience, definitely this is part of developer experience. So we have used Kadena Chainweaver. Everyone has used Chainweaver, and the thing is that Chainweaver is a mix of various parts, right? It has a part of signing, it has a part of module explorer, a little bit of Pact development. So what we actually want to do, we want to kind of formalize the way how we think wallets should look like, and not really formalize, but make it the way that we would like wallets to look like, especially for developers. And this has like two areas. So one goal is to make a nice wallet that everyone can use, and can have multiple mnemonic keys, probably a bunch for DevNet and testnet, and then this one mnemonic key for yourself. So we're actually working on that, and we hope that in the next quarter, so the first quarter of 2024, we are going to release that one. The thing is that with current wallet, Chainweaver, I'm not sure if you have noticed, but if I have my Chainweaver on, it's slurping CPU like non-stop. So what we want to do is optimize that one, and also give knowledge of the current process of generating keys from your mnemonic and then adding them to the accounts list to watch. It's slightly cumbersome. So we want to introduce also, we want to use the DevWallet to experiment with these things. So WebAuthn is a very cool product, but we really need something to really work with that, to know if it's actually working, and we want to create an integrated whole whenever we release new products. So few of those products are like one is WebAuthn, of course. The second is integration with smart wallets, potentially. A third one would be integration with some sort of a registry that we just talked about. The fourth one would be something that we want to actually consume our own products, so dog food our stuff. So we want to integrate it with the GraphQL. So these are all layers on top of each other that should be working together and make for a great developer experience. And how can you do that without doing it yourself? If you're just launching separate products but never integrating them yourself, then how can you know that it's actually working very well? So that's the goal here.
Right on. Super cool. I see a lot of people are reacting quite well in the chat, and you I think tickled people. And folks are excited. That is such cool news, and a nice little unexpected drop here on Campfire. Look at that.
Yeah.
This is why you got to tune in, folks. That's amazing. I know we're sort of heading towards the end of time here, but I have at least one more question. Then also want to make sure we have time in case anyone in the community wants to follow up on anything we've discussed or ask anything new, because it's a privilege to have you here. I'm curious, though, if you could tell me what's in the pipeline for dev experience that's upcoming.
Right. So yeah, some of the things that I have already mentioned, but we're actually also looking into for sort of not really formalizing, but making it easier for folks to work with the mnemonic key generation. So we're also releasing in the short future a new library called @kadena/hdwallet, which will allow everyone who wants to build a wallet to integrate this library into your app. And this will, because currently the algorithm that we use to generate keys from mnemonic keys in Chainweaver is a bit obscure. So we actually want to also with that create a new way and use the BIP44 standard for that. So that's actually the first layer. And then on top of that, we want to release a Kadena CLI that covers a whole load of subjects. For example, initializing your configuration so that you can work with different networks in a very easy way, creating transactions, generating code, generating TypeScript code. So the thing that we have in the Pact.js CLI at the moment, we want to move this all into this one KDE CLI. And then, this KDE CLI will also be used by a VS Code plugin that we want to write to interact from your VS Code extension with, for example, the DevNet, and kind of see easy ways to interact from your development environment with DevNet, etc. So that's actually some of the things that are coming up.
Right on, right on. One-Handed Quitter says, great, seems like laser focused on dev experience. This will go a long way for gaining adoption. Yeah, totally agree. Super, super cool to hear a little bit about what you're up to, Albert. So much happening. I guess as we kind of close out here, just had a couple last things. I guess I'm curious as to maybe we can end on maybe like a more personal note. How do you spend your time outside of Kadena? Any sort of hobbies or interests or activities that you enjoy?
Yeah, so I have 3 children. One is 5, the other one is almost 3. The 2030 becomes 3, and the other one is nearly 7 months. And yeah, I must say there's not much free time left, but in the spare free time I have, I like to do a bit of gaming and watching series. I still have to finish the last episode of The Expanse, which I'm watching with my brother, but I'm kind of postponing that just so, it's not finished yet. Yeah, so that's a bit of that. I have actually 9 chickens. I have quite a big garden, so that requires some work as well. So yeah, that's a bit of my personal life. Yeah.
Very, very cool.
And then, of course, as I'm a developer and a bit of a nerd, I like to tinker on various stuff as well. But yeah, nothing really much that finalizes in some product or something. But working on a local server with Home Assistant and doing some automation, etc. That's always nice. I'm planning to maybe connect my solar panels to a miner at some point. To get the right revenue from the sun, basically. So yeah, there is a buzzload of ideas, but nothing moves fast when you have only a few hours a day to spend on that.
No, fair enough. And where are you based out of, Albert? Where do you live?
So I live in the Netherlands, in a small town. Yeah, in the Netherlands, in a small town in like 70 kilometers south of Amsterdam. It's supposed to be the most beautiful old city in the Netherlands, so that's good. It's called Gorinchem, as you would write it down, but Gorinchem as you would speak it out. So. Yeah, it's great. I enjoy my time here. We have a great team in the Netherlands as well. So every Wednesday we try to be in the office and talk to each other, get the latest and greatest of the projects that are going on. Because when you're a personal live contact always gets different stuff than the scheduled meetings. So that's always good.
Right on. Very, very cool. Yeah. I know we're kind of at the end of time here. We have rumors. Okay, all right. We already got some rumors started. There we go. Oh, I love this question from Ron the Wizard. Albert, any advice for a beginner dev going from some JavaScript experience to Pact? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So if you don't care about writing Pact itself, I mean, you should probably have an idea on how to read Pact, because that will allow you to understand how you can interact with the blockchain. But if you just want to use the smart contracts that are available and want to build a dApp on top of that, you can fairly easily go to @kadena/client. Search for that on npm, and you will find a library with a busload of information on how to generate type information for interacting with those smart contracts. So that way you don't have to actually learn Pact, but you can still get the information that you need to build your transactions to interact with the blockchain. So that would be definitely a right one. And I think there's also so we're working with we've recently done a total revamp of the voting dApp, the election dApp that we've made. So if you go to docs.kadena.io and on the right you find the voting dApp. And that one is definitely a nice introduction. And if you are checking out this code, you will see how from a JavaScript perspective it will it interacts with the blockchain. So that's definitely a good start to go.
Right on. Well, that was a great question, and I think a perfect one to end on. So I'll thank everyone for joining us for another episode of Kadena Campfire. Huge thank you to Albert for really hopping on this very, very last minute without any prep or coaching here, and did a phenomenal job. So Albert, thank you so much. And I think it was wonderful for community to get to know you and to hear a little bit about some of your work and some of the DevEx folks. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Albert, any last words from you?
Thank you very much for having me. It was a bit last minute, but I enjoyed my time here. And yeah, definitely keep building on Kadena and keep an eye out of on the Kadena community, Kadena.js repo, because everything that we are doing is happening there. So make sure to check that out.
Amazing. All right. Thanks a bunch, y'all. We'll talk soon.
Bye.